Oh, we're live this time. YouTube hiccuped on me. It wouldn't let me go live, so I had to retry it again. So we're live now, though. Anyway, hey, good morning. 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I hope you're doing well today. And today I want to talk about, we're going to talk MVP. And I'm going to use post-house fire events to talk about MVP. And I drew a little drawing. See, I got a little doggy on the drawing, and a fire hydrant, and a fire truck, and a house fire on my house, and my little whiteboard. And we're going to talk about doing MVP, what MVP is like, and explain MVP in the terms of post-event house fire. All right. So I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach, and welcome to our 674th episode of 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. And here we talk about Agile and Scrum in a practical and tactical way. Today I'm going to talk about using the house fire as an MVP example, because everybody, what's MVP? How does it work? And we do this so you can bring that value, that most valuable stuff, to the customer in the right way, in the right timing, and not working crazy hours to get there. And at the same time, get you home to family and friends so you can have fun, meet other people, get those connections needed. So when you need them, post-house fire, you have them. And I'm going to post a video. I posted a video on TikTok the other day. We were back here in South Philly, got to watch the Mummers. I'll put that on LinkedIn too later on, just to show. I wish I took a video of my kids. He was patting to the music and his foot sort of stomping to the music. I wish I had that. That would have been perfect, but I didn't. But anyway, I digress. And that's the fun part of what we do. So let's talk about house fire post MVP event. So everybody think everything's MVP. You do it all at once. It's not going to happen that way. And it is time related, by the way, because the idea of MVP is getting some value to the client so they can use it, so you can get some feedback on how that goes. Sometimes you don't want a long-term plan. Sometimes you just want to get a little bit of information out and just see how it's going. So we had a fire. Step part one, fire, right? So we had a fire in the house. And what do we have to do? We had to find a place to stay that night. First thing we did, family. Gave us overnight, at least a place to stay. They had to move their dogs out, the dog out, so we can bring our dogs in because they haven't really met yet, and our dogs are really skittish around other dogs. So we had to we had to move the doggies. Little doggy, big nose, tail. Actually, we had 2 dogs, 2 cats, and 2 kids, and a mom and a dad. So we had like 4 people. We had like a lot of little fleet going into the family's house. So we had the family's house for like first 2 days, first day or 2. Yeah, it was 2 days. So we had 2 days. So MVP here was MVP 1, quick housing. We had the clothes that we had on our back and had to go to Target to buy some more clothes, right? Or Target. Some people like that. So this is MVP 1, right? MVP 2 was, okay, can't all be here. We have to go back to work, have to make an income. So MVP 2, short term, stay for work. And post fire issues. Like I had to be here for the assessors and cleanup people and the water people and all that kind of stuff. So I had to be better. So that was MVP number 2. Second MVP, right? And then what that was combination, family. So we had family and like a sweet hotel that could sleep 4, right? Now, the next MVP was third MVP, and I'm going to write backwards here because I'm going to run out of space. So the third MVP was, there's an old Arabic saying about you invite your guests, treat them as kings and queens for 3 days. After 3 days, you treat them like the snakes they are. Okay? Yeah. So basically, family after about a week or so, invading space, just stuff, it just, we had our ways, they had their ways, got to find a better solution. So the next MVP was the suite and get the dogs back to the house. Dogs and cats back in house. Now, this is more like what's specific. Now, the answer could be MVP place for dogs and cats. Now, we had two solutions. We did contact our place that we typically board the dogs when we go on vacation. So there's boarding. And then there's fixing up part of house. So we had two options. Did verify both of them. So when we were doing the MVP analysis, looked at the boarding, did set that up. That is a possibility if that we ever really need that. So that's okay. We didn't go that way. We did fix up between the office that I'm in here now and my daughter's bedroom, which was upstairs, so that the cats and the dogs can live in their house for what they are, and we just have to come visit them. So that's third MVP. Okay. Fourth MVP is we need something more permanent. So it's going to be a 3 to 6 month location because the fire took out both our bathrooms. So you can't really live in this house, and there's no electricity in the rooms that got affected. So we need a 3 to 6 month location. Pets is a bonus. Pets bonus. Right? So this is fourth MVP. This is where we're at right now. So I'm just going to go to 4 MVPs. I think that's long enough to have a conversation. So we had our first MVP. Well, actually, first MVP was with family. I had 2 kids, 2 parents, 2 dogs, 2 cats. Needed something for a couple of days until we figure out what's going on and what's the situation, what's the real impact, right? So this is for need location for, let's say, 3 days. Okay, 3 days. That's a good number. Because one day to get the night you have it, the next day, especially if it's a weekend, how much work you're going to get, right? So need location for 3 days. That's MVP number 1. Or 2 days. Let's say 2 days. 2 days. All right, second MVP is short-term stay is the second one, right? So this is the second MVP. This is the first. My charting capability is really bad. So I got first MVP, need a location for 2 days, end up going to the family's second MVP, need short-term stay for work and post-fire issues. Got a suite for that. That worked out good. The insurance company helped us locate that, so that was a good thing. I appreciate that very much for the insurance company. The third MVP was, okay, the snakes are coming out and everybody's getting grumpy. Need to find a little bit better until we figure out what we're going to do for a longer period. So the third MVP was a place for dogs and cats to stay in, right? And what we came up with, we had boarding and fixing up the house. We ended up fixing up the house, cleared a lot of stuff out, made the daughter clean her room. Okay, now the fourth MVP is this one, 3 to 6 month location. So had to spend some time looking up a couple options. We had a hotel, which I'm telling you ain't fun, and I don't think I'd go that direction. rent apartment, buy a house. So we had these couple items. Hotel. It's expensive. $200 a night. $200 a night times 60. That's $6,000 for 1 month. It's crazy. I'm not paying $6,000 a month. I don't know the insurance company to pay $6,000 a month. So this is like super expensive. Rent an apartment. Could be. Very hard to find short-term rentals for under 6 months. Most places want a year. So it's very complicated, very difficult, takes a lot of due diligence and a lot of luck. But you got to look and look and look and look. There are stuff out there, though. You just got to keep up. And then buy a house. Always talked about investing money, doing stuff. Maybe this is the linchpin that gets us to invest in some property management. I don't know. So that was the third one. Right now, we centered on rent an apartment. So that's where we're going for. So we had a couple different solutions. Doesn't mean one will be the other one. So this is where we do the systems thinking, where you get a couple solutions. You try around, see what works. Would the hotel work? Really couldn't find anything that was a too suite for 4 people to stay in, because it's tough being in for a couple months in one room. It's very hard. I'm sorry. It is. I love my family, but even we get on I get on my daughter's case, my kid's case all the time. And then you have the apartment idea, very difficult to find, but you got to look, and you hopefully will find some. There's ways you might have to negotiate the solution, how to do that. And then there's buy a house. So that's how I did the post MVP event. And as you can see, a lot of it's time based, and what the event and what the need is, not necessarily the solution. So when you do MVP, you don't talk about the solution. You talk about what the need is and what you need to get. So like here, let's do this one quick review. We had the fire. Fire, terrible. Fire engines, dog peeing on the fire hydrant, so on and so forth. First one, I needed a place for like 2 days, 2 or 3 days. So we ended up going with the family as the closest thing. Neighbors offered stuff, things like that, but we had family we could stay in for a couple of days. So that was the first MVP, and that was for 2 days. Second MVP was short-term stay for work and post-fire stuff. So we had a combination of family and hotel suite that covered that activity. My wife was able to stay in a hotel so she could go to work, and we swapped back and forth, whether we're here with the kids or stuff like that. Third MVP was something longer term for the dogs, because they have 2 dogs, cat, all that. My parents are getting old, right? So we had to find a place for that. So the second MVP, so we had 2 choices. Again, the MVP, place for dogs and cats. Boarding was an option. We did investigate that, just classic systems thinking. And fixing that part of the house, clearing a room out, clearing space out of the office, get rid of stuff. So we did that. So it turns out, so now they can stay in their house. It's smaller, but it's definitely bigger than a boarding house. So definitely better value for them, I think. They don't see us much, but they wouldn't see us much more in the boarding house either. And the fourth one was a location for 3 to 6 months as they figure out the assessment of damage. Got to hire contractors and then rebuild the 3rd floor, right? So a couple options there was a hotel and boarding for dogs, right? Rent an apartment and buy a house. Now, we didn't say, hey, the answer is let's buy a house. We didn't say the answer is let's get a hotel for 6 months. We looked at the different options, investigated them a little bit, and did some solutioning and some what's available out there as a possible solution. So that's MVP. It's not saying this is a solution and that's the MVP. No, the MVP is what is the need. You find multiple solutions to answer that MVP. I hope that helps everybody, because that's a different take, and probably you never heard that one before. You may. If you have, let me know. Please give us a thumbs up if you like the show. Ring the bell. Ring it once and twice. And I hope that helped with some MVP description. Feel free to use that with your teams if you ever want to talk about MVP. And again, MVP is about the need and want and not the solution, right? The solution, when you do an MVP, should be determined by the team and the people involved. Happy scrumming. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. and see you.